The story of the Titanic is one of tragedy, ambition, and human resilience. The intense competition between shipping lines in the early 20th century. The White Star Line, led by Chief Executive J. Bruce Ismay, found itself in a battle for steamship supremacy with Cunard, a respected British firm known for its luxurious vessels. Cunard had already introduced two standout ships, the Mauretania and the Lusitania, which were renowned for their sophistication and speed. In 1907, Cunard's Mauretania set a speed record for the fastest transatlantic crossing, holding the title for an impressive 22 years. These achievements put pressure on White Star Line to create something even grander. Ismay discussed the construction of 3 large ships with William J. Peary, the chairman of Harland & Wolff, a prominent shipbuilding company. This led to the creation of the Olympic class, with each ship measuring 882 feet in length and 92.5 feet at their broadest point, making them the largest of their time. Construction on the second ship of the class, the Titanic, began in March 1909 at the Harland & Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Ireland. The massive undertaking took 2 years of non-stop work. On May 31, 1911, the immense hull of the Titanic, the largest movable man-made object at the time, was launched into the River Lagan in Belfast. More than 100,000 people attended the launching ceremony, witnessing the ship's grandeur and the achievement of modern engineering. Over the next year, thousands of workers labored to complete the Titanic's luxurious interiors, build its decks, and install the 29 giant boilers that would power its 2 main steam engines. Finally, on April 10, 1912, the Titanic embarked on its maiden voyage from Southampton, England, with 2,240 passengers and crew on board. Stops in Cherbourg, France and Queenstown, now known as Cove, Ireland, followed before the ship set sail for New York. The passengers on the Titanic represented a wide spectrum of society. Many of the first-class passengers were high-ranking officials, wealthy industrialists, dignitaries, and celebrities. J. Bruce Ismay himself, accompanied by Thomas Andrews, the ship's builder, was on board. Notably absent was financier J.P. Morgan, who had planned to join the voyage but canceled at the last minute due to business matters. The wealthiest passenger on the ship was John Jacob Astor IV, an heir to the Astor family fortune. He had recently made headlines by marrying 18-year-old Madeline Talmadge Force, a woman 29 years his junior. Other notable passengers included Isidore and Ida Strauss, the elderly owners of Macy's, industrialist Benjamin Guggenheim, accompanied by his mistress, valet, and chauffeur, and widow and heiress Margaret Molly Brown, who would later gain fame as the unsinkable Molly Brown for her actions during the disaster. The crew members attending to the first-class passengers mostly traveled in the second class, along with academics, tourists, journalists, and others who enjoyed a level of service and accommodations comparable to first class on other ships. However, the majority of passengers, over 700 individuals, were in the third class. These passengers, paying lower fares, came from various backgrounds, seeking new opportunities in America, or hoping to reunite with loved ones. The Titanic was designed to provide them with superior accommodations and amenities compared to other ships of the time. On the night of April 14, 1912, tragedy struck. The Titanic received sporadic reports of icebergs from other ships, but the crew believed they could navigate safely through the calm seas. Around 11:30 p.m., a lookout spotted an iceberg directly ahead and immediately alerted the bridge. The crew swiftly reversed the engines and attempted to steer the ship away from the impending collision. Despite their efforts, the Titanic grazed along the side of the iceberg, causing substantial damage to the hull. Unbeknownst to the crew at the time, the iceberg had a jagged underwater spur that slashed a 300-foot gash below the waterline. This rupture compromised several watertight compartments, allowing seawater to pour in and gradually flood the ship. As the situation grew dire, Captain Edward Smith and Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer, assessed the damage. They realized that the Titanic was destined to sink and estimated that the ship had approximately an hour and a half, or possibly slightly more, before it would go under. Recognizing the urgency, the captain ordered the lifeboats to be prepared for evacuation. However, the evacuation process was far from smooth. The initial stages were disorganized and chaotic, leading to the launching of lifeboats that were significantly underfilled. According to maritime protocol, women and children were given priority, but due to the confusion, many women and children were unable to reach the lifeboats in time. The shortage of lifeboats exacerbated the tragic outcome of the disaster. As the ship slowly descended into the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, acts of heroism and selflessness unfolded. Passengers and crew displayed extraordinary bravery and compassion, assisting others and making sacrifices to ensure the survival of fellow passengers. Heartbreaking farewells occurred as families were separated, and loved ones made the ultimate sacrifice to stay behind or give up their spots for others. Nearly 3 hours after the collision, at approximately 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the Titanic succumbed to the forces of nature and disappeared beneath the ocean's surface. It had been a night of unimaginable tragedy, resulting in the loss of more than 1,500 lives. In the aftermath of the sinking, the RMS Carpathia, a Cunard Line ship, arrived at the scene after receiving Titanic's distress call. It rescued the survivors, providing them with shelter, medical assistance, and comfort. Among the rescued were J. Bruce Ismay, who faced scrutiny and criticism for surviving while others perished, and Thomas Andrews, who had contributed significantly to the design of the ill-fated vessel. The sinking of the Titanic had a profound impact on maritime history and safety regulations. It exposed the vulnerabilities of even the most advanced ships and prompted widespread changes in maritime practices. The disaster led to the establishment of the International Ice Patrol, which monitors iceberg danger in the North Atlantic, and the implementation of stricter safety regulations, including the requirement for sufficient lifeboats on all passenger vessels. The story of the Titanic remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of human endeavors and the resilience of the human spirit. It continues to captivate the world, serving as a testament to the courage and compassion displayed in the face of adversity.